Anyways, we are hearing exciting news from the EFC. I think everyone's starting to get a little bit excited now for the 8th of May. I just wanted to ask Cara a starting point, if we can. What has in a nutshell, what has the journey been like from, obviously, I remember the rush pre sort of lockdown, events were getting pushed out, and then it was going to the PR, and then we were cut, like there was a card in place, and then everything kind of fell apart according to the lockdown. What has the journey been from that sort of point to where we are now and getting back into action?
Yeah, I mean, lockdown, I guess not just for our business, but for not even businesses, just people in general, was so all over the place and uncertain, and everyone was making plans and everything was just getting messed up again. So yeah, it was a difficult time for sure. But now, it's been a year. I think things are, I say, settling. Like stuff's going on. People are getting about their business. Things are starting. It's been awesome to watch what the UFC have done. It's been amazing and inspirational to see how they have really kept MMA front and center and been pioneering it, and it's been amazing. So we've learned from that and looked at what they've done, and we want to pick up where we left off and apply the same lessons that they've learned, and obviously adapt it to our environment here. But yeah, we're really excited to get back on the 8th of May.
What would you say has been like the most constant, hardest hurdle that you guys have had to jump to get to the point to say, okay, we are actually now back and we're going to have live events again?
I guess there's a couple parts. One, it's the obvious issues with travel and lockdown and training and the rest of it. Now, in the early times, it was very difficult. Now it's flexible enough that the athletes can train properly, sufficiently, and that we can move them around, internally around the country, and we can move our crew, and we can actually get the events done. So early lockdowns, that wasn't really possible. Well, we thought it was, but the government thought differently. So yeah, anyway. But now it's easy enough to get that done, which is fantastic. The second side of it is money. It takes money to do shows like we do. Our product, we believe, is one of the best in the world. It's amazing, and we don't want to put on a watered down version of our show. That was one of the options that we looked at, or that was obviously out there, is to do a scaled back version, so to speak. We don't want to do that. We want to deliver the best product possible for the fans and for the athletes, and for ourselves, for our brand. So it just takes money to do that. So that's been another big factor. This economic environment is difficult today. There's no question about it globally. So we've just had to rework what we do and how we do it in order to make this possible.
You mentioned, obviously, money is always the top of the conversation, and that's what we're going to get into with your guys' new plans going forward. Talking about money, I remember a lot of the talk in the town when lockdown kind of came about. People thought that this might, in fact, in some way actually help the EFC. Like obviously per card, there's a cost involved. You've got to pay athletes and suppliers and all sorts of stuff that goes into it. But it came to the point where perhaps the EFC could kind of like sit tight, cut those kind of losses in terms of running an event and kind of save it to the back end. I mean, in the real world, that everyone thinks that this money would kind of just be hanging around. Was there some sort of benefit for the company to go into lockdown and kind of sit down on expenses for a time?
No. To answer your question, no. Our business makes money running events. So when we don't run events, we don't generate revenue. And when we don't generate revenue, we don't have the event expenses, but we still have monthly overhead expenses. So, yeah, I mean, those get covered when we generate revenue. So, no, it doesn't make sense it's not a financially good thing for our business not to operate. Otherwise, we wouldn't be starting again now. I'd still sit with our feet up. So no, that's not, that assumption whoever made that wasn't correct. But coming out of lockdown, coming out of where we are today, we're actually in a very good position. And I say that from a good position point of view. We're fortunate that MMA is one of the few sports that actually looks really awesome on television without a live event audience. It actually works. The product looks cool. Yes, we want the fans there, but it's not bad compared to football or tennis or other sports where I personally feel you miss that big arena audience. MMA is quite cool and intimate when you're just watching it without the audience. So there are some cost efficiencies that we'll have by hosting events without having to travel around the country to big arenas. That's a very costly exercise to do. So we're actually in a good financial position to go forward under this format. But no, it hasn't been. It's not a helpful thing to have been in lockdown. So to speak. Yeah, no.
It wasn't helpful to have your business shut down for a year.
No, it definitely wasn't. If we wanted to do that, we would have just shut it down anyway. I mean, if that's a beneficial thing to do. No, so it was actually very frustrating for us, to be frank. We got to a point 2 years ago. We had embarked on a massive African television expansion. We invested a lot in it. We put a lot, and it was working. We signed up 30 broadcasters across Africa. We were gaining the momentum, and we were coming into 2020. That was really our year to shine. So we had done all the hard work the year before, and 2020 was supposed to be the year where we benefit and capitalize on it. And then lockdown came along. So it was actually very unfortunate timing for us at that time.
I remember you kept on saying, even to me, you were like, watch this space. There's a big deal in the works that was kind of there to kind of, in your mind, was going to be the absolute game changer. And I know you were very close. Obviously we don't have to speak about the deal if need be, but is that still on the cards? Has it been done, or what can you tell us from that side?
Yeah, it was actually a bunch of commercial deals that we were working on, and it was actually based on our new television expansion that we had, our massive TV audience that we had. We're broadcasting on SuperSport daily for 9 hours a day. We're broadcasting on the biggest free-to-air TV networks every single week, which no other sport property has done, has that kind of broadcast footprint. So on the back of that, 2019 was our building year. TV, getting the TV content, getting the data coming back in, and then feeding that back into the market. We were very close with a bunch of massive commercial deals, effectively, which would have changed the business, and which is what we had, what the plan was working towards. And then lockdown obviously put brakes on those. So unfortunately, at the time, it couldn't have been worse for us, so to speak, when that happened in March. But not all is lost. The good thing from our point of view is, yes, we didn't get to sign those deals now, but our broadcast deals have continued. We've renewed all of them, and we've signed new ones in this period. So we've used this last 12 months to continue building our platform. So we haven't been making a lot of noise in the public market, but behind the scenes, we've been actually working and building and continuing executing that strategy. So we're in a better position today from a reach point of view than we've ever been. So we're picking up on those same commercial discussions that we had a year ago. We're saying, all right, we're back on again now. This is what it's going to be. It's certainly going to help us doing the show on the 8th of May, because then it shows what our product looks like. We're talking to people. You watch UFC. A lot of MMA fans do, but a brand manager at X telco, bank, whatever FMCG brand might not. So now they want us to show them what our product's going to look like. So that's what the 8th of May is. It's a showcase to show the world and corporates and brands what our product looks like, and how awesome it is, and what this reach looks like, and the kind of traction we're going to get across Africa. And then we'll be picking up all of those commercial discussions again. So as unfortunate as it was that we didn't get to conclude those deals in 2020, we believe we're going to hit them in 2021.
I want to go back quickly before the next one. You mentioned we wouldn't have opened if that was the case, talking about financial stuff. I don't know how many people actually really realize, but the EFC and the great events company that runs the EFC is in essence a family-owned and family-run business between yourself and your family. Was there ever a stage where you guys sat down and said, you know what, guys, I don't know about this EFC MMA thing anymore. Let's just throw in the towel and just let it be?
Are you talking about in the last year or the last 10 years that we've been doing this?
Specifically in the last year.
Yes, I mean, obviously consider it, because, you're taking a full step back, and prior to COVID, we're running on a hamster wheel, running event after event, and we've been doing that for 10 years. So certainly when the brakes were put on and we take a step back and you reassess and you look at your life as a whole and what you're doing and where we are and what we're spending our time on. But in many ways, it actually did the opposite. I kind of looked at it and we go, what's the future? What's a big opportunity for us? We've got live sport is now more important to broadcasters and to fans than ever before. There's less live sport being produced. So if we're in a position to produce live sport, it's amazing. We can do better than we've ever done previously. MMA is now bigger than it's ever been before. The UFC really pumped this last year and really grew it exponentially. Even our content, we were doing live. We're putting up episodes of previous bouts, skyrocketed across the continent. So we did really well. We got really good feedback from the networks that our content was performing exceptionally well. So we've got MMA, we've got live sport, we've got the African opportunity. Again, we were almost, I say, too early when we started EFC here. 10, 12 years ago, we were almost too early for Africa for what we were producing, to be frank. We built the sport from nothing here and kind of, really built it up to what it is. But now is where Africa is starting to shine. You're seeing it from an athlete point of view. You're seeing it for the whole world is starting to look at Africa to see where the next stars are coming from, where the next champions are coming from. You look at the population growth rate forecasts for Africa in the next 30 years. They forecast 50% of the world's population will be born here. So that means by 2050, someone's 30 years or younger, 50% of them will be in Africa. And that's an athlete and that's a supporter point of view. So, MMA is a younger audience in general than other sports. So all these factors combined, you look at how Africa is opening up with a free trade zone. It's going to be the biggest free trade zone in the world. I'm like, is there any better place to be? Is there any better opportunity than having an established brand like EFC with an unrivaled broadcast network, and an audience base, and to come out of COVID in this situation, start delivering amazing live content again. I think the opportunity now is bigger than it's ever been before. So it's easy to throw in the towel and walk away, but there's nothing else out there that I know of that's a better opportunity, just from a pure business point of view, than what the position that EFC's in right now. And from a personal point of view, I actually really miss it. It's really fun, So I really enjoy it. So it's an awesome business. We sit around and we laugh all the time. I mean, obviously every business has got hard parts and highs and lows, but many times we'll be chatting, we'll be like, "This is the coolest thing. We've got the best jobs ever. We have the most fun. It's awesome." So the opportunity for us is right now.
Fantastic. Obviously, we're looking forward to 8th of May coming up. There's a lot of things to talk about. You mentioned the 8th of May. We're gonna get into the investment side of things, the new opportunities you guys have presented. But you've said to people that haven't seen the product before, this is the chance that they're going to get to see the product. When looking at that card, when building that card, when bringing back the comeback, how important was star power, guys like Faiz Jacobs, Boyd Allen, Martin van Staden? Was there a factor you said, guys, listen, we need to sit down and get the biggest names we can possibly onto this first card, because we actually need to show off here. We need to show exactly what we can do, both from a presentation and a broadcast side of view, but as well as the fights as well.
Yeah, we want to deliver the most exciting entertainment product that we can. So 100%, the athletes that have come forward and committed are exceptional, and we are very excited and pleased about the quality of card that's being put on. And it wasn't just the first card. When we're planning 3 cards at once, we're planning May, June, and July. And Graham first was like, first May card. And we're like, Graham, what about the next card? He's like, yeah. So I spread it a bit. We can't have everyone competing on the first card, which is a good problem to have. So it's been really amazing, and what was really nice was actually getting back out there, talking to the champs, talking to the athletes again, just seeing where everyone is, where everyone's headspace is, and the general feeling overwhelmingly is everyone just wants EFC to get back again. Everyone's so excited to compete again. They've you don't know what you've got till it's gone kind of feeling.
Sure.
From my point of view, from the athlete's point of view, and I'm assuming from the supporters' point of view, it's going to be, this year off has made people miss it more, made me miss it more, made the athletes miss it more, and all of us appreciate what we had and want to work to make it come back again. So it's been fantastic to see the athletes, all of them, putting their hand up, going, "Get me back, get me on a card as soon as possible. I want to compete."
Just to add on to that, missing the EFC when it was gone, I think there was also a lot of fear that the EFC might not come back, and everyone was like, well, what do we do if that happens? Where do we go? So it was an interesting time, and very glad that you're back. Cairo, the big talk of the town, the 20% equity, what is it about? How does it work? And how do people get involved? I think is the obvious questions.
Awesome. It's effectively we have made EFC available for the public to invest in, for supporters to invest in, and for the athletes to get involved in. So we're listing 20% of the equity in the business on a direct investment platform called Stack Assets. So you'll be able to, as a supporter, you'll be able to download the app, register with Stack, and purchase equity in EFC and be an owner of the business alongside the athletes. So all the athletes that are competing at this upcoming event are literally going to be competing part for cash and part for equity in the business. So they're going to be fellow owners in our organization, which is fantastic.
How do you convince someone now to go and buy equity in the EFC? Obviously, looking back, there was financial talks and being gone for so long. What do you say to naysayers saying, I'm not investing in that business that's struggling? How do you convince them?
I think if you look at, all actually EFC needs right now is just a little bit of money, which is hence why this is taking place. We were talking about a brand that's over 10 years old. It's a solid business. It's tried and tested, so to speak. We spoke earlier about what I believe the opportunity is in Africa, from why this is the perfect market, why Africa MMA is a perfect sport for Africa, and the future kind of prospects there. And then you look at the global mixed martial arts and sports landscape, and you look at, yes, UFC, the $7-8 billion machine, sure. But then you get the ONE FC, and they're effectively doing what we've done in Africa, they're doing in Asia. They're mostly Asian athletes, we're mostly African athletes. Their distribution is mostly in Asia, we're mostly in Africa. They're just spending a lot more money than we are, to be frank. Hey, they've got the money to spend, so good for them. But they've raised hundreds of millions of dollars at $1 billion valuation from some of the biggest and smartest funds in the world. And then you go, even guys like PFL, a 3-year-old business, don't have a track record like we've got, don't have the kind of market share like we've got. We practically own the African MMA space. They're one of many competing in America, and they've raised a couple $100 million. So you look at the value of those, you look at the value of sport properties in Africa and the potential revenue that EFC can generate. If you look at what the football properties are generating and the rugby and the cricket, and then we go, well, we're going to be offering equity in this business at a total valuation of under $10 million. It's very low, in my opinion, but we're making it as attractive as possible, one, to the athletes, and two, to the supporters that get involved now, because we want them to walk this journey with us. We want everyone to make money, but we believe we're going to grow this business to be worth 60, 70, 80, 90, $100 million. I don't think that's unlikely. 3 years ago, we were offered $24 million for the business by an international MMA organization. So we're listing these shares at less than half of that valuation today, and that then was prior to our expansion plan. So our brand is worth a lot more. It's a lot bigger, and we've got a lot more inventory. So yeah, I think overall we've been very conservative with the valuation and the offering, but we want this. At the same time, we need the support. We want to make it attractive. We are making it attractive. We want the athletes to come in at a good valuation and make money. We don't want people. We want everyone to make money from this. That's the purpose of it. And two, with the supporters, the athletes is one side. They want to compete. They want to get out there. But then from a supporter point of view, there's kind of two parts to it. It's one, the investor, straight, I want to make return on my money. Cool, they can come in and invest. But then two, there's a supporter who goes, I want to see African MMA grow. I want to see these athletes have an opportunity to compete. I want to see them get to the UFC one day. In order to make that happen, we need EFC to thrive, and they can get involved. They can put their cash in. They get to. There's going to be exclusive benefits like, small stuff like betting on choosing who fights for the next title, or we're going to have exclusive kind of ownership benefits as well, which is cool. So it's a combination of pure investment and support the sport and see it grow.
Classic, help us, help you, help them kind of scenario. And I think this is, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I think it's a great opportunity for people that love the sport, that are invested in the sport, to really get invested in the sport. And I think it's going to be a great thing. If I'm Joe Soap, MMA fan with 5,000 Rand at the hand, and I'm looking at EFC and I'm looking at Coca-Cola shares, how are you going to convince me that, it's more than, is it more than just an investment, but also like an investment into the sport that you love?
Yeah, it's that bit of both. So for the one on the investment side, the UFC is highly regarded as the best tech investment. I mean, the best investment in the last century outside of tech. So the return that the Fertitas got on that was unparalleled outside of tech. Nothing else has been done like that. And I see as a mini version of that. You come in with 5,000 Rand, you say, get EFC shares, you've got a very, very good potential to get a big upside. If we're at $1 billion valuation, I know which company is going to be is ours. So can we get up to hundreds of millions of dollar valuations? Yes, we can, and we will. So just pure financial point of view, there's a huge potential upside on EFC, and I don't really see much of a downside. With this funding raise, there's more than enough money to keep us growing forever. Up until now, it's been my family and our personal money that we've been funding this business. Now we're going to have a group of shareholders that are funding into the business, which means that it just strengthens it so much more. And then you mentioned the supporter side of it too. Hey, if you're an MMA supporter and there's no better way to support the sport than to literally back the athletes, give them the opportunity, invest in it. You're investing alongside the athletes as well. So you're literally a shareholder alongside FIEs and all these athletes that are going to be competing. There's no better way to uplift the sport and to show your support than to actually invest in the product.
With that in mind, we've spoken about the showcase on the 8th of May. What can people expect from the, I want to say, new EFC or EFC 2.0 post COVID pandemic lockdown? What is it you think that we can expect that might be slightly different from previous shows?
Yeah, the obvious is the lack of attendance, so to speak. So we're going to work within the COVID parameters that we've got. We're hoping to have a couple hundred people in the venue. But bar that, we're going to be sprucing up graphics, and we're always trying to adapt our show and improving it. And we've been watching and learning. So there's going to be some new graphic elements coming in. We're going to try and make it more interactive from a broadcast point of view. We are pushing out, I mentioned, those TV deals we'll be announcing soon, which greatly increases our scope and our viewership. We're also working on some direct-to-consumer digital platforms as well. A lot of deals with mobile operators in the works. So, yeah, you're going to be able to watch EFC, see our content absolutely everywhere and anywhere. So I think from a fan point of view, you're never going to have a better opportunity to really watch the sport and get behind these athletes on the 8th of May.
And the last one from me, Cairo, people that are interested in spending their hard-earned money on some EFC shares, when can we expect that to go live? You mentioned there's going to be a trading platform. When will that all kick in?
So the trading platform is available at the moment. So the first step would be for a supporter to go online and open a Stack Assets account. So it's Stack, STACK assets.io. Literally open up an account, download the app on your phone, register on there first. That takes it's a bit back and forward with I guess just the registration process. And then once that's done, in the next 2 weeks, the EFC shares will be on that platform and tradable. And it's going to be going out in 4 tranches. So that 20%, we're going to start off with 5% at a lower valuation. So basically a cheaper price. And then once those are sold out, then we go up to the price increases and price increases and price increases after that. So the people who invest first get the best deal. So first step will be open the Stack Assets account, and then from there, the EFC shares will be available in the coming weeks.
Fantastic. So break out the old Visa or MasterCard, get onto Stack Asset, or say that again. Sorry, Cairo, it's Stack Assets, eh? .io.
Yeah, Stack, STACK, assets, assets.io.
Fantastic. Get on there, fill it out, invest in your sport. I encourage everyone. I'm definitely going to have a look myself, and let's all get the EFC and the sport where it needs to be. Cairo, thank you so much for your time. We're very happy you're back, even though people like to give you a lot of shit. We did miss the EFC tremendously. But we are happy that we are a step closer and nearly on the 8th of May. Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thanks, Al. Yeah, I missed all the heckling, so it's fun to be back in action.
Fantastic. We'll catch you soon, Cairo. Thank you, man. Have a good weekend.
Thanks for the time. Cheers, Al.
Ciao, bye.